Good afternoon. Here is the midday news on OGBC. I am Dipo Adega. First, the major items. President Buhari tasks retiring soldiers on tackling insecurity. INEC is restating commitment to ensuring compliance with the Electoral Act's provision on party financing. A UN summit has reached an agreement on the protection of nature. Retiring soldiers of the Nigerian Armed Forces have been charged to assist security agencies to tackle insurgency, even in their retirement. President Muhammadu Buhari gave this charge during the passing out ceremony of the Nigerian Armed Forces Resettlement Center Trainees Course 2022. Represented by the Minister of Defense, Major General Magashi, the President urged the 756 retiring soldiers to be proactive in their conduct in order to overcome post-service challenges. He admonished them to employ the various instructions and skills they have acquired while undergoing the training for peaceful and productive economic life as they reintegrate into the Nigerian civil society. In the meantime, the authorities in the country have been advised to utilize the experiences, expertise, and skills of military veterans in tackling Nigeria's security challenges. A former chief of army staff and minister of interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Damazao, gave the advice on Sunday at a forum in Abuja. Lieutenant General Damazao observed that the experiences and expertise acquired by the veterans have been largely underutilized by the country. He therefore saw the need to examine how the veterans would contribute to tackling the country's security challenges and also contribute to national development. Meanwhile, Nigerians have been reassured of the military's commitment to ensuring that peace returns to troubled areas of the country. The Director of Defense Information, Major General Jimmy Apple, gave the assurance while fielding questions from newsmen on Sunday. Major General Apple informed that the military high command has undertaken many operations to reclaim communities in the grip of terrorists. According to him, some of the command's efforts had yielded results, adding that the military will not stop until peace returns to the troubled areas. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it will stop at nothing towards ensuring that political parties comply with the provisions of the Electoral Act on party finances. The National Commissioner, Voter Education and Publicity, Mr. Festus Okoye, stated this while speaking with newsmen on Sunday. According to Mr. Okoye, the body is already working hand in glove with security agencies and anti-graft agencies to track campaign funds of political parties fielding candidates for next year's polls. He maintained that no candidate will be allowed to exceed the funding limit for election expenses and provision of the law, which frowns at offshore funding to finance elections in Nigeria. In another development, the INEC Commissioner, Mr. Festus Okoye, has stated that politicians buying permanent voter cards to manipulate the 2023 general elections are engaging in futile efforts. Mr. Okoye laid this out in an interview on Sunday. According to him, the model voter registration system, BVAS, that will be used for the accreditation and authentication of voters will reject biometric data of persons who are not original owners of the traded PVCs. Speaking on the possibility of politicians bypassing the BVAs, the INEC commissioner described as an impossibility the plan by desperate politicians who are already harvesting PVCs to rig the next election, while reiterating that it is an electoral offense to be found with a PVC that does not belong to one. Mr. Okoye noted that security agencies have the responsibility to go after such individuals and prosecute them. You're listening to the midday news on OGBC 90.5 FM. A new deal to protect nature has been agreed at the UN Biodiversity Summit COP15. The historic plan will put 30% of the planet under protection by the end of the decade. There will also be targets for safeguarding vital ecosystems such as rainforests and wetlands. The agreement was finalized in the early hours of this Monday in Montreal, Canada, to cheers and applause. The UN Biodiversity Summit in Montreal had been regarded as a last chance to put nature on a path of recovery, without being division over the strength of ambition and how to finance the plan. The UN is urging countries around the Andaman Sea in Southeast Asia to assist a boat carrying at least 150 Rohingya refugees, which has been drifting without power for 2 weeks. People on board the boat who have been contacted via satellite phone say a number of passengers, including children, have already died. They said that food and water supplies had run out. The UN made its appeal on Friday, but so far there has been no response. The small fishing boat left southern Bangladesh last month and has now been at sea for more than 3 weeks. Those on board are believed to have been trying to reach Malaysia. The boat is open with little shut and its engine appears to have failed a few days after it departed. Russia says it will deploy musicians and singers to the front lines of its war in Ukraine to boost troops' morale. The Defense Ministry announced the formation of Frontline Creative Brigade this week, saying it will also include circus performances. The UK's Ministry of Defense highlighted the brigade's creation in an intelligence update on Sunday. And while Moscow said Russia's defense minister, Mr. Sergei Shoigu, visited frontline troops in Ukraine, Shoigu spoke with the troops on the front line and at a command post, but confirm when the visit took place or whether Mr. Shoigu visited Ukraine itself. This comes as UK defense officials said low morale continued to be a significant vulnerability across much of the Russian forces. The Thai Navy says 31 sailors are missing after a warship carrying over 100 crew capsized and sank during a storm in the Gulf of Thailand. The Hitman Sukhothai sank after water flooded its power controls on Sunday night. Authorities said this Monday they had rescued 75 crew, but 31 are still missing in rough areas. The Navy said search crews worked through the night to find survivors, and the operation is continuing this Monday. At least 36 people have been injured, 11 seriously, after a Hawaiian airline flight from Phoenix to Honolulu was hit by severe turbulence. The incident happened shortly before the aircraft, carrying 273 passengers and 10 crew, came into land on Sunday. 20 people were taken to local hospitals with injuries ranging from lacerations, bruises, and loss of consciousness to head injuries. Thunderstorms were reported in this area at the time of turbulence. Flight HA-35 landed at Daniel K. Inouye International Airport at 20:50 GMT on Sunday. Of the 20 people taken to hospital, 17 were passengers and 3 were crew members. On sport, Argentina's captain Lionel Messi says he will not retire from international football yet. Messi scored twice for Argentina in Sunday's thrilling World Cup final over France as the game was 3 after extra time, before converting in the penalty shootout after Argentina won 4-2. Despite being 35, Messi wants to carry on playing for his country beyond this World Cup, putting to bed any doubt that he might retire. Argentina head coach Lionel Lasconi has also urged Messi to keep playing until the next World Cup in 2026 when he will be 39. Security is central to the country's development, contributes to ensuring a secured society. To end the midday news, another look at the major items. President Muhammadu Buhari had the passing out of the Nigerian Armed Forces Resettlement Center training corps charged retiring soldiers to assist in tackling insurgency, even in their retirement. Speaking with newsmen on Sunday, the INEC National Commissioner in charge of voter education and publicity, Mr. Festus Okoye, said the commission would ensure compliance with the provision of the Electoral Act on party finances. You also heard that the United Nations Biodiversity Summit COP15 has reached an agreement on the protection of nature. The midday news was edited by Chris Obu and BBC Abeokuta. Sure.